Cool.
Floating's going to be fun. That's true. We'll look forward to that. Yeah. A lot of people that come don't know about that North Florida has these amazing clear springs. So
Oh
I'm
yeah.
looking forward to that. It's always neat when somebody sees it the first time, like, oh my gosh, this is in the US. So,
Yeah, I think most amazing thing about that is they're always like 78 degrees or 72 degrees.
mm-hmm.
So when you have a hot climate, it's like a
Oh yeah, it shocks
built-in
you.
air conditioner.
In the
That
winter, apparently people go to the springs because it's warm. Like
exactly.
72 degrees is better than 50 degrees. So.
Yep. And the manatees too.
Yeah. Hey, Scott. Good to see you.
Hey, Bill.
Thanks for chatting today. In context with your session, what I think the title of it, the working title is One Sheet to Rule Them All.
Yeah, or one plan to rule them all.
One
Yep.
plan to rule them all. And I first saw you talk about this at Autodesk University.
Yeah.
And it was so shocking and amazing that I ended up dreaming about it that night and asking you all these, well, what about this? Well, how would you do this other thing? And I think I texted you the next morning. I said, okay, you've wormed into my brain with what you're working on. So let's give a little context.
Sure.
You work for Beck, Scott Brown. Yeah, introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
So I'm Scott Brown. I'm early adopter of Revit 1.0.
Real early. Yeah.
Real early.
Bought
Fry Architects in Fort Collins, Colorado. And so just totally thrilled. I grew up wanting to build models. Like that's what I love doing, is building models. So in architecture, drawing drawings in AutoCAD was right, but did it. Always liked really good drawings though. And then Revit comes out, right? Now I'm building a building on the computer before we build it in real life. And that's still what we do, right? At Beck, we're building the building models virtually before we build it in real life. And the key to our success is that 2D has to tell the same story as the 3D. And so what has occurred to me, probably about 3 years ago, where this idea of one plan came from, was one of our superintendents. So Beck is an architecture and construction company. So we build what we draw. And, we put our drawing sets together like we always did, 30 by 42 sheets of paper, and we print them to PDF. And, your 1/8-inch plans, you're like go-to for dimensions, go-to for wall tags, go-to for door tags. So, but it always had line weights. And one of our superintendents, we'd bring up the plan on the big screen and he'd go to Bluebeam settings and turn off the thick lines so that he could see all the layers of the wall.
Right.
And he's like, why do you guys hide stuff? You make these heavy line drawings. And I'm like telling him, like, it's because we don't really know what we're doing.
We might not know yet.
Want you to see.
Yeah.
Right. And because what he wanted to see is where our dimensions were actually going to, because we have some note saying that it's, to face the sheathing unless otherwise noted, but he can't see that. And we're not always good at noting everything that we want to tell them. Right. So I was like, that's interesting. We go to such great length to make that heavy line and make it look pretty. And he wants to turn that off, do it in sections, everything. So, okay, that's interesting. Didn't occur to me to change anything because one of the main things was, right, you have a wall that might have multiple layers of drywall on one side and only one on the other. And they really need to know which side has the multiple layers of drywall.
Right.
Like it could be very important from a sound transmission point of view or constructability. So anyway, the other thing that really bothered me was I have this model now that I want to share. And what do? I take this holistic model of the whole building and I break it into tiny little pieces and I put it on sheets. And so I take what's whole,
you smash it up
and reassemble it, hoping to give them the information they need, but it has to be disparate, right? It's missing stuff.
Right.
Every time I choose to do a plan at 8 scale and then blow it up to quarter and then blow up a detail to 1.5 inches, I'm leaving something out of the picture. So how do we give them the complete?
I like the way you think about that. We make a nice holistic thing and then we smash it up to explain it.
It's right. It's ridiculous. And it could be.
I mean, it's an artifact of the technology that was available at the time.
Absolutely. Gaudi could build a model of the Sagrada Familia, but he couldn't slice it up to show them, right? No. But we can. So the idea was, can we slice this one time?
Right.
And put all that information in one place to give
as few slices as necessary.
Few slices
don't
as
smash
necessary.
It up.
So that's what birthed the idea.
How long have you been doing it this way?
Doing what?
This concept that you have. To me, it's a return to first practices, because it's information in context, right? It's not smashed up.
Yeah.
But we're doing it with new technology. So that's why I think that's why it appeals to me. It's a return to first practices in a way. But sorry, how long have you been doing this? Like when you started?
Starting to put this idea together. Yeah. I think about 3 years ago was when I first put it on a goal to like.
You've been sitting on this for 3 years.
Yeah, and so the challenge with this, right, is, and this is why I'm really excited to talk about this with the group of people you've assembled, because you know how to take an idea, and I will show you what we've done with it, the plans we have, generated all the special tags, all the interesting
why you do
stuff.
It, how you do it.
Yeah, all that we can talk about. But I'd love the people who are going to be there to start thinking, like, without seeing that, what would it look like in your world to have one deliverable that explains everything you need to see?
Sounds crazy. Sounds impossible. Right. But I saw it at dinner in San Diego.
Yeah, at the Enscape dinner.
Yeah. So when you show this to contractors, it's not like you're imposing something new on them. They came to you with a problem, and so they're in line with this. And
they want this so bad, because think about the amount of time we spend dividing up the drawings and putting them on different sheets. They spend just as much time, if not flipping through, trying to find the information we told them we gave them. So this solves that problem for them. So certainly technology issues to overcome, but they're most excited about it. And I'm just excited about the amount of time wasted in that process that can be put back to better use.
Simplifying the process. That's the thing. It's easy to make function and feature, and it's hard to simplify. It reminded me in a way of having, if you ever did you've done road trips, and you get the maps and you fold them out, and you're like trying to find an area, and you're like, oh, it's E11. Let me flip the map over and find this thing. And that's what we do with our construction documents all the time. We end up smashing it up. Yeah. So you're doing something that I haven't seen in the world, and I'm really excited about this. We'll show up on the 27th. That's a Sunday. You're driving up from north of Orlando.
Altamont Springs, just north of Orlando. Yeah.
Okay, so you're about 2 hours away. That'll be easy. Show up on Sunday, float down a river on Monday, catch up with each other, try to reconnect, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 3 to 4 sessions a day, and you'll be in there. We don't normally have presentations. It's normally like open discussions. We're trying to, crowdsource. How are you doing it? Help.
Right.
How am I doing it? But in this case, it's kind of a presentation, because you just got to lay it out there. And I'm interested to see what objections, because I think this is going to blow people's minds. Like this is the one that I'm really looking forward to. And I've thought about it a lot since then. Like, this just makes sense. Like when we get to the end of this, if you have are you willing to share your project template, or do you think we should just create our own based on your best practices?
Let's see where it goes. Yeah,
that's a good answer.
I've always approached, ever since Revit, the Revit community has been one that needed to kind of come up in the world together. And it's always been a free for all. I remember getting to Beck after 12 or 13 years ago and the office building that I was working in for Beck in Tampa, the template they used to draw that in Revit was the one I made at Vought Fry. I was like, this is really weird. What's going on here?
Yes.
I think I had shared it with Kelly Cohn or something, news groups back then. And so he had taken it, run with it. And, so yeah, we always feel like if we share the way we do things as construction folks, it comes back to us in the way we want it. So yeah,
there you go.
Now this is,
Yeah,
I
you've
think
been
this is an
inspiring me a
idea.
long time. In the old Revit forum, I think that Vault Fry project must be a PDF somewhere in a Dropbox folder, because the effort that you went through to create a material pattern for the stonework at the bottom of that, it was like a mountain residence, and I thought, oh, this is just beautiful detail. So thanks, Scott.
I look forward to this, and I really look forward to getting feedback and seeing how a bunch of great minds can make this much better than I.
Do you think you'll get objections other than people just freaking out like that's not how we've done it?
Well, I think the biggest objections are the ones, at least, that I've been amazed how receptive construction folks are to me. I think the biggest objection is right now we still have to produce both because you've got permit agencies.
Oh yeah, because the bureaucracy wants it a certain way and they got to check their boxes, right? I get that. But the contractors, the people that are actually building it,
they're so tired of getting disparate information, right? Is that even the right word? Sounds good.
Yeah, it is. It's smashed up.
Yeah. And so this is an interesting thought. We're starting to embed PEs. You know what those are? Project engineers.
Yeah.
So they're the ones that have to take our drawings, flip through them and say, okay, I got the door submittal here and I got to find all the doors, and they got to make sure that everything's documented. And so they're kind of the gatekeeper between the supplier, the subcontractor who's ever going to buy it and purchase it and install it and make sure it matches the drawings. And then if something's not right, then they ask the architect, right? We respond. So we're starting to embed them in this process. I'm teaching them how to use Revit, because at the end of the day, I've come up, and I'll show you a way to get it out of Revit, but the best world is if they can use it to
come inside. Yeah.
Come inside.
Yeah.
And then they can add information. Like it can go so far. Like if you think about all the downstream data, that's another big push and reason this is important, is allowing the model to continue and more people to using it by putting information that they need into the objects.
Oh, okay.
And once that's in there in the one plan, we can analyze one plans in the future and know a lot more than we know today. Anyway,
no, I'm looking forward to
it out.
Yeah. Thanks, Scott. Have a great day, buddy.
You too.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.